ephedrine products are pharmaceutical grade, which is widely and legally available both in North America and something else. I'm just reading off the internet without
Right. Well,
going
they
into
make
it.
ephedrine out of ephedra.
Mm-hmm.
You can buy the isolated thing that's dangerous. If somebody would take that with caffeine, they're still going to get the same high.
Oh,
I don't
yeah,
know.
definitely.
You know, they shouldn't have taken that off the market. But okay, some more characteristics. The fig tree. The fig tree hangs on trees in pairs. What does it remind you of?
Need I say more?
Right. Especially the older they get, the more they start looking like this.
or when they're warm and hot.
Anyhow, figs are actually known to increase the mobility and how much quantity of sperm. And they look like a bunch of little sperms in there. But it's cool that they hang in pairs.
You know, and it just blows me away how our food is so indicative to some of the body parts we have.
I know. And that's not a coincidence.
No, it's not. I don't believe that it is. I agree.
Okay, now this is a little stretch for me, but I understand it.
What is it?
23% of bones are made of sodium. Bok choy, rhubarb, and celery are very high in sodium, and they look like the bones between the joints. Don't you think? A little bit?
Mm-hmm. I got the same information. Bones are 23% sodium, and these foods are 23% sodium. So if you don't have enough sodium in your diet, then it pulls from the bones, making them weak.
Right. So what are the chances that those have the exact same percentage of sodium as bones?
Exactly. The chances are because we have a creator and not just a confused Big Bang Theory.
Right. Okay, so now we're done with characteristics. There's more, I'm sure. These are the only ones I can think of and have something that I can show you for. The habitat or the adaptation. So the plants has to adapt to something. These are called partiarco trees, and I don't remember where I got the pictures. If somebody sees this somewhere and they say, hey, that's my picture, I apologize. You let me know and I'll give you credit for it. I just can't find them. But these are partiarco trees. Partiarco tree grows in the Amazon, in the rainforest, where it's really moist. And there's a lot of viruses and there's a lot of funguses and stuff like that. If you cut down a partiarco tree, no matter how long it lays there, it does not develop any fungus on it ever. Partiarco is good for a lot of things. It's good for cancer, as people say, warts and stuff like that. But partiarco is also extremely good for funguses in the body, yeast in the body. It had to adapt to that rainy, moist, fungus-growing atmosphere or environment, and it was able to take it. Did I say something wrong?
No. Cherie just says, she says, I don't think anyone will admit to the toenail picture being theirs.
Well, I know who this belongs to, and I really appreciate the person let me use it. Yeah, this does look. Let me tell you something really sad. There was a gentleman that came to me, and this was like about a week before he died. He had a fungus on his toenail, on his big toenail. I think on both of them, actually. And he took this medicine the doctor gave him, and that medicine killed his liver. It totally destroyed his liver, and he ended up dying over medicine they gave him for toe fungus.
Right.
And he died before he had I don't know if the urge even showed up, but it wasn't time to save him. It was just too late. But isn't that sad?
Yeah, it's
While
very
party
sad.
arco, actually even vinegar will help with that, but we're
Right.
talking about adaptation more than toe funguses.
Mm-hmm. Let me go on to say that powder arco, I mean, I found that it reduces pain, fights candida, reduces inflammation, heals ulcers, cancer, provides antiviral, antifungal properties, detoxifies the body, vaginal oral yeast infections, herpes simplex virus, influenza, parasite disease, and again, bacterial.
Right. And it's probably one of the best antivirals, single antivirals there is out there.
It's an amazing herb. I use it a lot in my practice.
You know what? I don't use it as much as I should. I use it for warts. My daughter had warts all over her hands, the poor kid. And this is before I knew about herbs. And we went to the doctors and they would freeze them. They called them burn them off, but actually they froze them. And it would be so painful. She'd hold on to my hand and tears would be rolling down her face. But she felt so self-conscious about her hands, right? So she did all that, and then as soon as they would start healing, they would start coming back with more. It's like every time we got them frozen off, she got those ones back and a couple more because the virus was still in her body. So she had to do some kind of a project for school. And I said, well, I heard the party arco will get rid of warts. Why don't you do it? And she Xeroxed the picture of her warts, and she drank party arco. And you know what? Her warts completely went away. Completely.
Sweet.
Never came back to this day.
Wow.
And she won second prize at the science fair.
Good for her.
Yep. Okay. Any questions about party arco?
Somebody's just saying that the tea actually is quite tasty.
It is. It reminds me a little bit of sassafras.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like I put a little honey in with it, and it's actually pretty good. I like it cold. I don't drink it warm. I like it just cold. So I'll make a big, like a gallon jar of it, and then I'll just keep it in the refrigerator, and I'll just pour out, you know.
I'll have to try it. I have some here.
Oh, delicious.
Hmm.
Have you ever had sassafras tea?
I have.
Okay. Who said that they like the taste of party arco? Doesn't it taste like sassafras tea?
It's Sheree.
Huh? Oh, Cherie.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever tasted sassafras tea? Cherie? That's hard to say all at once.
I'm not trying.
All right. So, again, the adaptation. I try to look up adaptogen, and you cannot find a very good definition of adaptogens. I didn't know if it was a mineral, if it was a vitamin, or whatever, but that's whenever Butch told me they had to adapt to the environment. They don't really have a category for it. So think of aloe vera. You take an aloe vera plant, and it grows where it's hot, and it grows where it's dry. So aloe vera had to adapt to that by being able to keep moisture and to cool itself off. If not, it would have died in the deserts. So what aloe vera does for us is it helps moisturize and cool. If you have a burn, some people call an aloe vera plant a burn plant. You just take the plant, the leaf, and you split it and you put it on a burn. And it's amazing. It takes the pain out, you know, the heat out. Sometimes if you put it on right away, you don't even get a blister. I just tape it on with a Band-Aid or a piece of tape. It's good for heartburn. It cools it off the way it had to learn to cool itself off to adapt in the desert. Okay, do you have anything to add?
I do. I love it because it helps improve the skin and reduce wrinkles. One of my professors was 60 years old and had the skin that looked like a 30-year-old, literally. The elasticity, just the way that the skin looked, amazing. And all she's ever used in her whole life was aloe vera. So I know that it
Topically.
works there. Yes, topically.
Well, I have this huge aloe vera plant. It's about ready to lose its life.
Really? Now, I did find that it's an antioxidant, antibacterial properties. I found that it accelerates the healing of burns, like you said, reduces dental plaque, helps treat mouth ulcers and canker sores, reduces constipation, and then the skin.
Right. Matter of fact, the constipation part, if you're going to eat the fresh aloe vera, you want to open up the leaf and just eat this jelly stuff inside. If you eat the whole leaf, it causes diarrhea.
Really?
Yeah, whole leaf aloe vera is a purgative. It's right up there with cascara.
Got ya.
But the jelly part isn't, just the whole, the outer leaf.
I don't know if she did, Cherie. She's asking, did your tutor open the leaf and scrape out gel and apply to skin for wrinkles? I'm going to say yes, but I'm also going to say that she probably used the aloe vera juice that you squeeze out of it, because she talked about keeping it in a jar.
Okay. For certain things, like there's a lady that had radiation poisoning, and whenever I have a woman that's getting breast cancer and she's going to get radiation on the breast, I usually suggest that she does aloe vera, to get a fresh aloe vera and slice it open and suck on that stuff all the time, because fresh aloe vera has something in it that heals better than once it's been extracted for a while. So if you wait until someone has used, the juice, even if you juice it and then you use it a couple hours later, it starts with an H, and I can't remember what it is, but it does not work as well. The fresh aloe vera works better.
Oh, I'm sure it does.
So this woman that had that radiation charred and just destroyed her esophagus, and the doctor said, you'll never be able to eat or drink anything again. She had a gastro tube put in. She would take the aloe vera and she would just put it in her mouth and just kind of let it go back as far as it can. Then she'd have to spit it out sometimes. And she did that, and after a while, she called me up. She said, guess what? I actually swallowed some today. She kept on doing that, and this fresh aloe vera plant absolutely reversed the damage that was done by the radiation treatment.
Are you kidding me? That's amazing.
Isn't it? So now, anytime I have a woman that's doing radiation treatment for breast cancer, because that radiation can char the esophagus, I will have them do this as a preventative. Comfrey. Comfrey has a crazy, for one thing, comfrey grows almost anywhere. Some people say, where do I grow my comfrey? And I go, yeah. I don't know any place you can grow comfrey that it doesn't grow. Maybe cement. It won't grow in cement. But anything besides that, it grows like crazy. It's very easy to grow. Matter of fact, every May, I give literally 50 to 100 and some starts of comfrey. If you contact me, email me at marysherbs@aol.com and send me your address, I will send you a starter root. It's illegal to sell comfrey, but it's not illegal for me to send you a root, so I will do that. But comfrey, what my kids used to do with the comfrey is they would cut the leaves, and you see these little hairy things here? It would act like Velcro. So they would put it on their clothes, and they'd look like this one great big aloe vera leaf because it clung together. And what comfrey is known for a lot is it helps bind bones and wounds. One time I hurt my back really bad. I have since learned that I actually broke my back. Chiropractor took an x-ray and said, your back was broken. I knew it was hurting really bad. I used comfrey root, and it healed it in amazing time.
Wow.
Comfrey undoubtedly is something everyone should have in their yard.
Well, I found that comfrey ointments can be used to help heal bruises and pulled muscles and ligaments.
Mm-hmm.
It can be used as a tea to aid in treating stomach problems as well as ulcers, heavy menstrual periods, diarrhea, bloody urine, persistent cough, cancer, and chest pain.
And isn't it a shame we're no longer allowed to suggest that anymore because it's
Right,
illegal?
right.
So we are not suggesting you take it internally. Although, my kids used to eat it all the time.
So you can eat the
Yeah.
leaves, actually?
Oh, yeah, they used to eat the leaves all the time.
You can put them on
Absolutely.
your salad then.
It's like eating cat tongues, though, the texture. I never liked the texture of it. And it's kind of strong,
Yeah.
but they eat it all the time. The only thing you have to worry about the comfrey root, I would be very careful. The comfrey root has an alkaloid in the root.
Oh,
And if you don't double boil it, it can poison your liver. So learn a lot before you start, because a lot of people will see that the American Indians used to eat the root of comfrey like we eat potatoes, but they
I
knew how
see.
to protect themselves from it, so be careful. Okie dokie. And that is it. How many slides we had? Like 45 different plants that you can see that God had put his signature on it so we know what they're helpful for.
Absolutely.